I am shit. Right, Lascon, can we learn about when you joined a cult, please?
Yeah. So,
for the listeners at home, we have been begging him to tell us this
I think
story.
Yusuf should do 2 for our ones.
Fine, 2 to 1, work the
right,
rest.
so I'll do both of your requests, cult and big poo in toilet. So, I think all of these stories start from a position of like being experimental and not having such FOMO of like, but what if there is something to it? What if I do spend 3 weeks in a pool?
Yeah.
Underwater 2 hours a day, and actually it is slightly beneficial. So the cult was something that was recommended to me. I thought, I'm going to join it. I probably shouldn't say the name of it because
can you give it an alternative name?
Yeah, Grubbly Bub. So
cool.
I joined the Grubbly Bub cult, and it basically involves going to Berwick and standing in a dark room with some old men. And
just for my clarity, when did this happen?
this was last summer.
Oh my god!
Not as in, yeah. So summer 2017.
There's so much stuff that he just doesn't mention.
We never find out.
Well, because it was at the time it was just another experiment. I was like, okay, like there's a claim. I'm going to test the claim. I'm going to join it.
Okay,
dive
so
fully
come
in.
on.
I was like, I don't join like a Louis Theroux skeptic. I'm like, I'm fully on board with this potentially working.
Were you on your own?
Innocent until proven guilty, so to speak.
So did you say to anyone, I'm going to go join the cult, or were you like, I'm off to join the cult?
No, I came back, told my flatmate, he was like, where have you been? I was like, I'm in Berwick, I've joined the cult. He was like, cool, mate. Went into his room. Like, David is the most unfazed person. It's amazing.
So, went to Berwick, stood in a room with old men.
Stood in a room with old men. They say begin. The old men start speaking in tongues and sort of running around, moving, and
What are they wearing?
just normal clothes. It's like old men clothes, like cords and a sort of checkered shirt, echo
Very
shoes.
grey.
Yeah. But you have to take your shoes off when you go in the room.
No echo shoes.
And I'm standing there, and everyone's like supposedly being, or what looks like being possessed by something, and I'm thinking, why isn't this working? I want the fun,
The tongues.
the tongues and stuff. So it's like, okay. Eventually, and it went on for half an hour, and they're all doing this, and I'm standing here, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to lie on the floor.
Did anyone run over you?
No. So that was a suspicious thing, because they're running around the room and supposedly totally out of control, out of their bodies, but
didn't stand on
coordinated enough to not stand on you.
So the spirits that possessed them were at least polite.
We were polite enough, yeah. And then I went every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. to a community centre to do it. Just me and one other guy who was the representative for the Northeast. And he was very patient with me. I was like, look, it's not working for me. He was like, don't worry, just persevere. So I did every Saturday morning for 10 weeks.
This is why we couldn't get you to do podcasts.
And eventually I was like, look, I really want to give this an honest shot, because there's no point in just saying, oh, tried it, didn't work. But no. So
Fucking hell.
it's quite a disappointing story, really.
I want the poo one, and then I want the nocturnal emission.
Okay.
That's
that
one
was
of my
mentioned
favourites.
In the Vipassana podcast.
Have you heard the story about him flying to the Isle of Man, holding hands with a German lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so funny.
Right, so
Can I just, before you move on, what was supposed to happen with the cult?
we're supposed to also do I don't know whether it's maybe suggestibility. So because they were really into it, and speaking.
I don't think that you're particularly suggestible at all, Anna.
It's a shame, but I wanted to be. That's the annoying thing.
But they
You can't want to be suggestible. That's how it works.
They presumably don't go and think, oh, I can't wait to get possessed. What are they trying to do?
Well, they don't call it possessed, but they So,
The spirit moves through them or something like that.
but I felt like the silly one in the room.
Which is incredibly bizarre that you felt like the silly one.
lying on the floor,
I love the commitment. 10 weeks to Berwick Community Centre.
The local one was just.
Do you remember?
here.
Do you remember when I came round to your house and you had a huge bowl of spinach in front of you, and you were eating raw spinach from the bowl, and I said, "Why are you eating that massive bowl of spinach?" And you said, "I'm not sure, I read something at some point that said eating a bowl of spinach was good for me, but I can't remember what it was, and I can't remember the effect it's supposed to elicit.
It'll be a calendar reminder.
It was a calendar, exactly. So you know, sometimes when you find yourself in a situation, you're like, oh man, past me has scuppered present me because I forgot to like take the chicken out of the freezer, or I forgot to whatever. Whereas in this case, past me did myself a favour but didn't explain why. So all I had was a calendar invite saying eat 200 grams of spinach. Like, I have read this and it is, and I verify that it is correct. And I'm like, okay, well, like, I trust past me more than anyone. As long as it's like posts.
What I admire so much is that you just go, okay, time to do that then. And then you just do it.
So, what was the big poo in toilet story? We were talking on the previous podcast last week, or
Some week.
Get the time warp wrong.
Sometime.
About do not live with 7 people. Lived in a flat with 7 people. Someone did a big poo in the toilet and it blocked it. It got halfway caught up the U-bend, wouldn't move at all. And then it's a case of like, do people just continue to try and poo on top of it and hope that it pushes it down? Very risky move. So I boiled the kettle fully, poured it on the poo, and all it did was release the steam. It almost like it concentrated the smell and dispersed it throughout the room. So then all I've done is created a net negative situation where like, the poo doesn't dislodge at all, but all it's done is enhance the potency of the poo.
Atomised the poo.
Atomised it, like dispersed it throughout the bathroom. 7 people, we all can't go to the toilet. My flatmate, who is one of the smartest people I've ever met, but has a very odd way of things.
David.
Will, yeah, not really in a. I don't know how to describe it because if I try, it's going to sound like he has Asperger's syndrome. It's not. It's not in that same vein. But anyway, he walked to the nearest field, which was a mile away, to get a stick, and walked back, dislodged the poo with the stick, and then didn't know what to do with the pooey stick, so he took it back to the field.
So he'd done 4 miles of walking.
And I took the mick out of him because I was like, why did you have to go? Like, I understand getting the stick from the field, like just about, but you didn't need to go and put it back in the same field. Like, no one's going to miss it.
As part of that, for me, I don't know why, it feels like it's complete. It's back in the field now.
Full circle.
Yeah. But with poo.
But the poo doesn't matter in the field necessarily because there'll be poo in the field anyway.
What if someone else goes to do the same thing?
With that same stick, takes the end.
Well,
fuck.
Terrible.
He faced that risk to begin with and he was okay with that risk.
That's true, yeah. What if it already did?
Oh, it's just that's the poo stick.
Yeah, that is the poo stick.
So, I don't want to monopolise the podcast, so I think we've
I think you should.
Can we do?
I've got another cracking one, which I don't know. I don't know if you know.
I want novelty. Come on.
Okay.